Hi, Missy Yost here with the Yost Group, and welcome to Yost on the Coast. Today, I want to go over some things that we wish we had known before we moved to the low country of South Carolina. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Missy Yost with the Yost Group, and if you're not familiar with the Yost Group, we do these videos about once a week to keep you in the know of what's going on in the low country of South Carolina. Darren and I are a husband and wife real estate team here, and we specialize in helping people relocate to the area and also specialize in new construction and resort style communities in the area. So we are here to answer any questions you have about that. It really doesn't matter if you are thinking way down the road about moving here or if you're ready to move immediately. It's never too soon to start gathering information and understanding about the area. In fact, we have a lot of people who are looking at this area and other areas, and they'll come into town and usually spend like a day with us to tour around and weed in and weed out different cities maybe in the US that they're thinking about looking for. So we pride ourselves in being able to help you understand this area better so that you can either rule it in or rule it out of your future plans. Now, Darren and I moved here about 10 years ago, and we kind of did it on a whim, but at the same time, we realized that there's never a great time to make the move. You've always got something that's keeping you from moving, or it will wait until this happens or wait until that happens. And when we made the move, we had some things like I had a mother that was still in the area and my children were in the area. So it was really hard to leave them and her and make the decision to come down here. But in the end, you have to realize that there's never going to be a great time, and we really felt a calling to come down here in the low country area. So we went ahead and we contacted a realtor in the area and started making preparations to make that move. So that was probably our first mistake when we came down here, is that we really didn't interview a lot of different realtors in the area. So we didn't understand who could really help us and not help us understand the area. This realtor did very little in the area, and he was recommended by our bank because he was a preferred realtor through that particular lender. And so he took us out to a few communities, and we really didn't learn a whole lot other than about those communities. We didn't understand about the area, what to expect on like cost of living, what average prices are, what insurance is going to cost, what utilities are. We really didn't understand any of that. And I think all of that, and taxes, it would have helped us if we had like a general overview of the community, what the school systems were, just kind of everything in the area, so that we could have made a much more informed decision. Now, we were very lucky to where we chose a great neighborhood to start out in and wound up learning a lot about the area while we stayed there for the first 2 years that we were here. Once we understood the area, we knew exactly where we wanted to move to. So we built a home in Hardyville. And it like going out on a limb at that time because Hardyville was just up and coming. It wasn't super popular at the time, and it was kind of a hit or miss where it could have been a great decision down the road or it could have been a complete disaster down the road. But we went ahead and we built there. Now that was when we made mistake number 2, because we went ahead and we walked in the sales office and we talked to the salesperson, and we wound up purchasing a lot and moving forward without a realtor. So we really needed to have a buyer's agent on our side, because whenever you walk into any of the sales offices down here, those salespeople work for the builder. You're always allowed to take your own realtor in with you that represents just you, your interests. If there's a problem with the builder, they can step in, they can help you. So we were not actually practicing real estate at the time and really didn't know. We were going through real estate classes down here, but we really didn't understand that we should have our own buyer's representative when we went into the community. Now, one big misconception is that it costs you more if you have your own representative, and that is not true. They have money set aside usually for buyer's representatives. You're going to pay the same amount whether you have a representative or you don't have a representative, so you might as well have a representative. And that kind of brings me to a new issue that we're running into now, where you'll hear a lot of stuff about now buyers agents are paid for by the buyers. Just know that in most cases, the builder still pays for your buyer representative, and you, even on a resale, in most cases, the sellers are still doing concessions to pay for that realtor. But just make sure you have a conversation with your realtor before you move forward so that you understand what you might be responsible for now versus what the seller or builder is going to pay on your behalf. The next mistake that we made when we moved down here is that we did not get a home inspector in either the new build or when we came in originally. Now, when we came in originally, it was okay because everything checked out fine in the house and there really wasn't any issues. But we had looked at some houses that had polybutylene piping, and we didn't understand that polybutylene is something that needed to be replaced before you moved in because it has a high failure rate. Now, there's other things that can happen that you would need to have a home inspector come through and look at. You might have wood rot, you might have cut trusses in the attic, you might have some plumbing problems, corrosion and stuff that you really can't see. So they can usually find a lot of things that you cannot see with the naked eye. And that's a great idea to have them come through and look at that. Now, on new construction, it's really a great idea to have a home inspector come through at least pre-drywall and final, because they are able to go through and find mistakes for the insulation and drywall goes up, and they're able to help eliminate any issues that might be there in the end when you're finished building. They'll also come back and do an 11-month inspection, because most builders, they'll come in and they'll do like nail pops and whatever you might have noticed within the first year of living there that needs to be corrected at that time. And a lot of times they'll come in and they'll do a home inspection report, and then you can just turn that over to your builder for your 1-year warranty. So that was another thing that we didn't do that we wish that we had. Other things, when we first came down here, we thought that when you hear the tax rate is 4% for your primary residence and 6% if it's an investment property, second home, we thought, well, okay, that's 2% difference. That's not that big of a deal. But it is a big deal, because if you are not a primary resident, what happens is they charge you for school taxes where they don't if you are a primary residence. So we'll take Hardyville, for example, because that's the easiest. Basically, it comes out to 1% of your purchase price for your property and property taxes if you are a owner occupant primary residence. So say you buy a $500,000 home, that's going to cost you $5,000 annually. If that is your second home, it's about 2.5% what your purchase price is. That's $12,500. That's a huge difference. That's $7,500 more. So just understand the differences in your tax structures if you are a primary residence versus a second home resident or an investment property. Because there are a lot of people who think, okay, well, I'm going to come down here and buy a place, I'll rent it out for a couple years, and then I'll use it after that. And that's fine. Just be prepared that your taxes will be higher. Now, if you're in an area that already has high taxes, then that's not a big deal. But if you're coming from a place like Ohio, like we did, the tax rates are a lot lower. So if I'm paying $12,500 a year in taxes, that was a big jump from what I had been paying in that area. As far as like utilities and things like that, they're pretty standard priced. You're not going to be paying a whole lot more. In fact, if you're coming from the north, you'll find that they're probably less, because you're not having to pay the high heating, and you have more air conditioning here than heating. So there's all of that is pretty much the same. Food prices are the same. Gas might be a little bit less than it is in other areas. So things like that, cost of living is going to be pretty much average. There's also a homestead exemption. When you are over 65 years old and you have lived in your property for 1 year, you can get another. Basically, it comes out to about $500 off your tax bill because they give you a $50,000 credit off of your assessment. So at 1%, that's about $500. It kind of depends on which area you're living on, how much that savings is. But just know that there is a homestead exemption if you are over 65. Now, like I said, we do a lot for people who are relocating into the area. We are happy to answer any questions for you. We've got some guides we can give you as far as like booklets and things like that. We are happy to answer any questions. We do phone consultations. We do tours in the area. So we are here to help you out and to understand the area. Just don't hesitate to call us. If you have not already, please make sure that you subscribe, like, and share our videos so that other people can find us as well. Contact us via email, text, phone call, whatever is easiest for you. We are here for you. It is just Erin and I. You will get one of us. Anyway, once again, I am Missy Yost with the Yost Group. And until next time, bye-bye.